Good morning and welcome to the beautiful tourist town of Paihia, located in the spectacular Bay of Islands region of the Northland of Aotearoa, New Zealand. On this occasion, it's been a short little visit to New Zealand, just 4 days exploring the beautiful Bay of Islands, but today we've got to head back to Auckland, where I'm going to be getting a China Airlines flight over to Brisbane. Check out that review already on the channel already. So this morning I booked on an Intercity bus service which originates nearby in Kerikeri and travels through to Auckland. They usually have several daily departures on this route. Unlike my trip up here, today's service is largely leaving on time. All you gotta do is report to the driver to head on board. Leaves from the heart of the Paihia waterfront here. Seating on today's Intercity coach service is very much on a standard Intercity bus, just a single level coach, not like one of their double decker buses they operate. Do want to review one of those in the future. They indeed have Intercity Gold, so really keen to check out that. But in terms of seating, it's acceptable to be honest, but yeah, legroom isn't overly that great to be honest for bus standards. There's also no fold back tray table and not much else in terms of amenities. No restroom on board either. One good thing about Intercity coach services, as New Zealand's largest coach operator, they do have a pretty extensive route network all around the North and South Island of Aotearoa, New Zealand. They also do have free Wi-Fi on board as well. Compared to some other coach lines that I've been onto, the Wi-Fi works okay for just general browsing and that sort of stuff, but yeah, it does run off a mobile data system just like your own mobile phone. So yeah, it is prone to dropping out with coverage. For your information, today's journey I booked very much last minute, the day before. It cost me 60 New Zealand dollars on the Intercity website. On top of that, they also charge what I thought was a rather steep $5.50 booking fee. For your information, I wasn't actually intending to film this bus review coming back. I only decided to do so at the last minute. That's because on the way up from Auckland, I filmed a much more extensive bus review. But for some reason, I think it was going into a long weekend here in New Zealand. It was very busy conditions coming up. So we actually were on a substitute bus, still operated by Intercity, but I think it was on a Clark's coach line service. So the experience was a little bit different to your usual Intercity service in terms of the bus and seating and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I thought considering this was actually an Intercity service, I thought it was well worth doing another review on it. So that explains why there's no official on-screen intro and outro for this video. Before, it was a great opportunity to film some of the beautiful scenery along the way anyway. It's gazetted at 4.5 hours this journey, so travelling on road in New Zealand can be quite slow going. Only about 230 kilometers this journey, but yeah, catching a coach in Australia, usually traveling at least double the speed. And just like that, we're now approaching the city of Whangarei with a population of approximately 57,000 people. This lovely city is the largest city in the Northland of New Zealand, and it was also the main stop on today's journey in terms of more passengers joining us today, where it's then going to become a full bus journey down to Auckland. And just like that, we're now leaving the lovely city of Whangarei behind. From here on, there's just going to be one rest stop on today's journey where you can get out of the coach, stretch your legs, use the restroom, and even visit the cafe that's there. And just like that, we've now arrived at our rest stop. Short little 10-15 minute break, not a huge amount to see or do here, but a good opportunity to get a good view of our coach. So now back on the coach after the short little rest stop, and now direct onto Auckland. So what better time now just to sit back, relax and enjoy some of the lovely scenery. Then once we approach the beautiful city of Auckland, then give my final thoughts and verdicts and whether you should travel intercity in New Zealand. But for now, just sit back, relax and enjoy. And just like that, we're now arriving into the city of Sails, which is New Zealand's largest city. We're now about to head over the spectacular Auckland Harbour Bridge. As we're about to do that, I asked the question, would I recommend travelling intercity up to the Bay of Islands region of New Zealand? Well, the answer to that question is that it depends. This is my 5th intercity bus review on the Aussie JetSetter YouTube channel. In short, I really think they're a great way to travel intercity, really good and route network here in New Zealand. You've got some quite impressive buses as well, especially get on a double-decker service. I think they're generally speaking a pretty cost-effective way of travelling around New Zealand, but yes, certainly not necessarily the quickest way. In a nutshell, I think they're a really good way to travel around between cities and towns that are not directly connected by air travel. Such as when I caught the bus between Dunedin and Queenstown last year. To be honest, on this particular route, I would have preferred to take Air New Zealand Dash 8 Q300 up to the nearby city of Kerikeri. If you book in advance for Air New Zealand, I've seen this 50-minute flight retail for as cheap as 65 New Zealand dollars. which is incredibly reasonable and only marginally more expensive than getting the bus. So in this case, it's an absolute no-brainer. But yeah, booking last minute in the height of the peak summer holiday season, getting Air New Zealand was over 5 times the price. It was going to be $300+ for such a short flight. So yeah, in considering this, getting the bus both ways was merely just the far more economical option for me at the time. So in a nutshell, if you're booking in advance, you're booking in the low season, probably flying is going to be a quicker and almost as cheap option. But yeah, if you're traveling in peak season and you need to save money, getting the bus is going to be a time consuming process, but it's going to be significantly cheaper. So that's what I would recommend you do. Do keep in mind, however, getting the coach is potentially going to be a more point-to-point service as well. Kerikeri, Bay of Islands Airport is approximately a 20-minute drive from Paihia as well, so do keep that in mind if you're flying. Also do keep in mind the coach stops at many stops along the way, such as Whangarei, which may well suit you more anyway. Now we're just about to rock up at the Sky City Central Bus Station, which is the headquarters of Intercity operations here in Auckland, also adjacent to the iconic Sky Tower, which was once the highest freestanding tower in the world, also home of Sky City Casino and Entertainment Complex. From here you can connect on to other Intercity services, also the departing and arriving point for the SkyDrive coach service, which takes you out to Auckland Airport, which I'm about to get on right now. So in a nutshell, today's service was more than okay, nothing too remarkable either. Intercity got me from point A to point B with a minimum of fuss. Not really Intercity's fault, but yeah, travelling around many parts of New Zealand is indeed quite slow going, just because of the roads, the speed limits, and sometimes just how busy the roads are being a long weekend. So in a nutshell, travelling with Intercity is generally speaking a good way to go, travelling to and from the Bay of Islands regions of New Zealand, particularly so when prices on Air New Zealand are sky high. Maybe a little less convincing when Air New Zealand has a good deal. So when travelling around by coach with New Zealand, allow yourself plenty of time to get from point A to point B. But yeah, that gives you plenty of time to enjoy the spectacular Kiwi scenery as you go. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this rather impromptu review of my Intercity service between Paihia and Auckland today. No, I wasn't really expecting to do it, so that's why it's a little bit shorter than normal. Anyway, if you have enjoyed it, really appreciate it. Do give it a like, leave your comments down below. Most importantly, don't forget to share amongst your family and friends. Also, don't forget to consider subscribing to the channel, clicking that bell and notification button on as well. Whatever it brings you to my channel, flight reviews, walking tours, aviation content, whatever it may be. If you do enjoy my content, really would appreciate that. In the meantime, you also visit my Aussie JetSetter Shorts channel and dedicated Instagram page. All my short form content covering what I'm doing in the world in real time. Plenty of sneak peeks of my content as well coming up on there. May even wish to visit my dedicated Discord server for fans and community of the channel to discuss all things aviation and travel. Also, don't forget to check out my complete Bay of Islands series on New Zealand. Also, my China Airlines flight review as we travelled across the ditch over to Brisbane. Plenty more flight reviews and walking tours from my big trip around Australia and New Zealand coming up on the channel as well. But from here in Auckland, thanks so much for watching and safe travels wherever that might take you.